take this. 20 seconds. Just hold them there. I need them in a giant bubble. Oh, those are giant slayers. Fuck. Oh god. Oh my god. Why does he have so many slayers? I thought I looked at his army, but there's like at least 3 units of slayers. Well, that's not gonna work. I changed my mind. Run away. Okay, let's hit this guy.
We will obey. Sineth! Sorceress. Thoros. Javelin, Rodan. Sotek. Cosmos. Lothern Seaguard. For Lothern.
Kill the slayers. Slayers need to die.
Will be done. Understood.
Move.
Setting forth.
And he's got his goddamn scarab swarm ability. Of course he does. Okay, I want y'all to go deal with the war machines.
Northern Seaguard. For Assyrian. Draw back!
Ow, 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 ow. Some more archers coming on. I'll go babysit over there. Oh my god, there's like a bunch of chariots and shit coming over here. Kill the slayers!
Assyrian guides us.
Joins the red host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
Oh my god, there's so many baddies! They're led by Thoric Ironbrow of all frickin' people.
Kroq-Gar wounded.
Sotek.
Cosmos.
Hey, the Jethro, thanks so much for gifting a sub to Vitamin Skeptic. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Yeah, we were barely even able to shut down the war machines because the AI is actually defending itself. Split up. Oh my god, there's so much garbage. Well, the good news is we won't have to pay for this army anymore, so we can actually afford Kroq-Gar's army, so that's nice. All right, yeah, so I think we're gonna go back to the Golden Tower, and that's where we're gonna kind of plant our flag. Jesus, my Stegodon got like insta-killed. Oh my god, look at all that damage. Oh god, Jesus. Ah! Holy shit, dude. That was like 6,000 damage in like a second or two. I love the idea of Thoric Ironbrow being the stubborn in the old ways is the best dwarf, and he's honestly my favorite dwarf character alongside Grombrindle. May I have a lore fact on Ironbrow? Yeah, let's see, what's the best lore fact on Thoric Ironbrow? A really, let's see. Let me think for a half second. Well, now I regret marching that direction, but it's fine. Well, city's gonna fall. But at least we got money back. I'm trying to think some interesting things about him that are not super duper obvious. Probably one of the neatest things that's not necessarily well known about Thoric is that Thoric Ironbrow, despite the fact that he's an old traditionalist and is very much old school in a lot of dwarven ways, which can cause, you know, trouble depending on the situation. One of the big important things about him as a character is that he very, very strongly believes in action by the dwarves, because many of the dwarves kind of live by this philosophy of it's best for them to just like pick a hole to dig themselves in and wait for the end of the world. But Thoric is not. Sometimes he'll argue that that is a good decision because, you know, that's what their ancestors did and it worked out for them. But a lot of the time he is actually extremely aggressive when it comes to marching out and doing things to like get the Karazhan Corps back on the offensive. Most notably, he played a very key role in the attack on Karagate Peaks. If I recall correctly, I believe he was involved in the first, like when the first invasion, when they actually took some of the territory. And then he also came back numerous times to assist his fellow Dawi in the fight against Skarsnik and the legions of Clan Moors. Like he played a massive role in so many of those fights, which is a really super badass aspect of his character. Wasn't Thoric the guy, Chad, who fought Neferata and Archon at the same time? He fought Archon. No. He fought Neferata and Krell. He fought Neferata and Krell at the same time, which is still insane. And he messed up Neferata really bad, though obviously she was able to heal from it. But he also permanently damaged Krell. He actually hit Krell so hard that some of Krell's binding magic that allows him to, you know, exist, essentially became permanently undone. Which was actually a pretty huge blow and played a larger part in Krell's permadeath later.
Clancy Dubs cheered. X100. How many bits to get a lore story? I gambled my points away a couple streams ago lol.
You mean like a full lore story, or do you mean like a lore fact? Lore stories being like the longer ones where I actually like pull out a book and stuff like that. You don't like this map? It's annoying to fight Skaven. It is pretty annoying when fighting against the Rat Boys. That is very true. Are those the only Slayers? Okay, that's good. Face of action. More Slayers. Where's the dwarf in charge? Oh, I remember he's like way off to the side. Oh, thank the old ones for comments. All right, get in there, boys. He has poison text, right? Yeah. Okay, he doesn't need help. Y'all get out of there. Okay. Run down as many as you can, boys. Just chasing y'all. Run them down, boys. Run them down. I've killed so many dwarves. It should hit. Might have been a little bit off. Hold up. Oh, no, that was pretty dead on. That was pretty dead on. Is lore for fantasy only for fantasy or AOS as well? No, no, no. We talk about Age of Sigmar here as well. Age of Sigmar is kind of like the future continuation of fantasy.
Clancy Dubs cheered. X300. Whatever this gets me for something on Skarsnik.
Well, if you,
New Year.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. Clancy Dubs, if you want something small, you've already earned that, so I'll just go ahead and give it to you. So a fun fact about Skarsnik is that Skarsnik actually is one of the very, very, very few greenskins who was born genuinely intelligent. Now, as he was born genuinely intelligent, he's actually, because presumably a lot of his growth went to his brain instead of his body, he actually started off very, very small compared to most other goblins, or at least night goblins, to the point where when Skarsnik first, like, spawned, so to speak, like he first emerged from the spore areas where new little goblins would come from, Skarsnik's original name that he was given by his tribe was not Skarsnik, but was actually Runt. So he was the Runt. That was his original name because he was so small compared to most other goblins in his tribe, and he got bullied for that a lot. However, he was extremely intelligent for a goblin and was really big on lots of sneaky, conniving schemes and accomplished a lot of really interesting things during his life. Things like he discovered there was a goblin in his tribe that, when it emerged, appeared with two heads. It had two heads instead of one. And normally in greenskin tribes, they kill mutants because mutants are kind of seen as like weaker. Like they stand out so much that they just make really easy prey for other greenskins, so they always end up being like killed and eaten. But this one, the clan shaman said, "Oh, he's got two heads. He's he's blessed by Gork and Mork, so he's blessed." So they kept this two-headed goblin around, and Skarsnik ended up learning or figuring out how to manipulate this particular goblin. And Skarsnik learned that the reason this goblin was born with two heads was because the spot that he emerged from was actually next to a pretty, very sizable chunk of warpstone. So Skarsnik, known as the Runt at the time, ended up making deals with the Skaven, because he organized a situation with the Skaven clans in Carrick 8 Peaks, and he started secretly trading them under the table and was trading them warpstone in exchange for things that he wanted and needed, which allowed him to gain like a lot of really early power and renown that he might not have had otherwise, much to the irritation of many of his rivals. And I'm kind of tempted to like hover around here so that maybe those armies will pull off my city and come attack me instead. Is very tempting, I must admit. But there are lots of little fun things about Skarsnik. Like Skarsnik lived in the Wolflands for a while. He actually kind of like he took up residence with the goblins of the Wolflands and lived with a Wolf Rider tribe for quite a few years after he was essentially exiled from Carrick 8 Peaks, before he would later return and make a big ruckus, reestablishing himself. Oh yeah, no, the city's fallen. Man, we were doing so great until Khalida stabbed us in the back. That was the moment where everything on that side. Man, I should have. I should have killed her. Did Skarsnik ever attack the Empire? Not directly. He had quite a few schemes that threatened the Empire, and there are quite a few tribes that are under his influence that antagonize or attack the Empire. But he himself has never made a notable appearance in the Empire. He stays down in Carrick 8 Peaks, where he focuses on his potential threats and battles down there. Thoric, I'm gonna get revenge right now. Gentleman Skeleton, did I ever finish your lore fact on Thoric, or did I get distracted? Yeah, I did. That's right. That he helped Carrick 8 Peaks a whole bunch. Yes, never mind. Thoric is also pretty much, and they represent this well in his campaign, that he's the only rune lord who is very, very famous / infamous for constantly marching out to great effect, you know, to like find ancient relics of the ancestor gods and all sorts of other stuff like that, which is a pretty big deal. Hopefully we'll be able to hide and heal for a little bit after this fight. When did Skarsnik adopt Gobla? Skarsnik first met Gobla like really long time ago. Skarsnik met Gobla like the second Gobla spawned, because Skarsnik had found the little like his spore pit and had actually led others there to help him round up a bunch of squigs. And that's actually where Gobla lost his eye, because Skarsnik was there with a big rival of his who hated Skarsnik. And when he realized that Skarsnik had discovered like a genuinely solid squig nest, instead of just like accepting the fact that him and Skarsnik were gonna have to be working together on this one, you know, doing what needed to be done, he threw a big bitch fit, because he would rather try and hurt Skarsnik than allow them both to succeed. So what basically happened was that he started killing all the squigs, all the baby squigs that came out. He was stomping on them and crushing them and killing them, because he figured better nobody get them than even me. Better even I don't get them than Skarsnik get them. So he was killing them, much to Skarsnik's annoyance. And he picked up what would eventually grow to be Gobla and actually like stabbed one of his eyes out with I think his fingernail. And Skarsnik actually saved Gobla. And Skarsnik, kind of more on a whim than anything else, decides to let Gobla go. So instead of allowing his tribe to capture Gobla and everything that would entail so that, you know, he'd become a trained squig and everything, he just decides to let him go. And then he doesn't see Gobla again for many years. But eventually he sees Gobla again. And when he does, Gobla's all grown up. And so is Skarsnik. And Gobla was actually being used by that same rival of Skarsnik's in like an arena of sorts. And wanted him to eat Skarsnik, but when Gobla realized it was the same goblin who had saved him all those years ago, he immediately was like, nope, and ate the goblin war boss that was trying to order him around instead, which was wonderful. Get on the ranged units! Get on the damn ranged units! Oh, jeez. No, the Scar veteran! Damn you, Thoric Ironbrow. Okay, these gotta go. Alright, we've shut down all the war machines. Thoric is, I can already tell, going to be a big problem. If I can get one last comet off. Oh, good comet. That did absolutely nothing. Bring him down! Bring him down! More comets! Hey, y'all see this shit? The AI actually like getting back on their war machines? Little bastards. Oh, the priest fell. Okay, I need to get over into this fight. If I can bust up this fight, we've got it.